were going there, you weren't going as a couple, you were going to find someone. It was like a dance or whatever. And so you'd go to a singles event to meet someone. And then there was the dreaded blind date. Which is pretty much self-explanatory. Well, now, in addition to that, you've got so many more options. You guys have it easy, I'm going to say, okay? You've got online dating, which is meeting people through websites. Yeah. Someone's cashing in big time. Okay, you've got speed dating, which is interesting. You get together at like the Hilton Garden Convention Center, and you'll go there with a bunch of singles, and it'll be a big room, and they'll have all these little tables set up around the outside, and all the girls, the ladies, will be sitting on the outside of the table, and they'll time you, and the guys will have 3 to 5 minutes with each gal, and you'll go around the room, so what, in 3 minutes you can see 20 girls in an hour, and the hope is that through one of these conversations, sparks will fly, you'll exchange cell phone numbers, and you'll go on a date. Speed dating. And then there's mobile dating, or cell phone dating, where text messages to or from a cell phone carrier are used to show interest in others in the system. And then virtual dating, which is a combination of video game playing and dating, where users create avatars and spend time in virtual worlds in an attempt to meet other avatars. And I'm sure that with the movie that's going to just go off crazy. So that's a lot of change in like 20 years, I think. While the Bible itself doesn't use the word dating, not even the word courting or anything like it, the Bible contains a lot of principles that can guide us when it comes to dating in the 21st century. As I mentioned, the Song of Songs has been our primary text through this series. And the Song of Songs addresses dating in 2 primary contexts. And the first context is marriage, dating within marriage. Now, if you're here for the first time, you're like scratching your head thinking dating within marriage. But if you've been coming, you know that we've been emphasizing the importance of married couples blocking off time in their schedules to spend meaningful, uninterrupted time alone together. All right? So married couples must schedule regular blocks of time where they can spend meaningful, uninterrupted time together. And that's exactly what the woman does in Song of Songs. Song of Songs is a love song between a husband and a wife. And in chapter 7, the wife realizes that they're an extremely busy couple. Her husband is the king of Israel. And he's got lots of pressing duties. He's got people that are always vying for his time and attention. And so wisely, she recognizes that the two of them haven't spent much quality time together lately. Can anyone who's married here relate to this? I'm the only one. Okay. Well, they hadn't been spending enough quality time together. So she lovingly plans a date night with her husband. And I'm going to read from verse 11 and following. I've got it in the New Living Translation. I'll start with the NIV. She says, "Come, my lover, let us go to the countryside. Let us spend the night in the villages. Let us go early to the vineyards to see if the vines have budded, if the blossoms have opened, and if the pomegranates have bloomed. There I will give you my love. There the mandrakes give off their fragrance, and the finest fruits are at our door. New delights as well as old, which I have saved for you, my lover." Now think back to the start of the series. Where do Solomon and his peasant princess meet? Can anyone remember? Sorry?
In the vineyards.
They meet in the vineyards. They meet in the countryside. This is where they fell in love. They fell in love not at some formal banquet at the palace, not in the city of Jerusalem. They met in the vineyards. And so essentially what the wife is saying is, honey, let's go back to the countryside. Let's go back to where our passion for each other got ignited. Let's turn off the cell phones. Let's get out of town. Let's get to a quieter place with a slower pace where we can be alone together. Now, wives, there are 2 ways that you can get your husband to take a break. Number 1, you can nag them. We never go anywhere special We never take vacations. You never take me anywhere nice. All you do is work, work, work. Not much of an invitation, really. Or you can say what she says. Sweetheart, I've booked us a bed and breakfast in the countryside where we can make love outdoors. And some of you are thinking, should we do this? That's what she says. I'll just say two things. Number one, if you do it, don't get caught. If you do it and you do get caught, don't tell the press your pastor said to do this. So in verse 13, she says that she wants to share experiences with him on their getaway, both old and new. And what she's saying is, honey, we've been married for a while, and I generally know what pleases you, and you generally know what pleases me, and I'm good with that. I'll do that. But also, I'm ready to try some new things. Things we've never tried before. I'm ready to experiment. As every married man in this room will tell you, that is a great invitation from a wise and loving wife. Now guys, I know that in Song of Songs 7, the wife plans the date, but I'm going to put the onus for planning your weekly date time, whether it's a lunch, whether it's a coffee, whether it's an evening, whether it's an afternoon. You are the one responsible for making that happen. I think that makes more sense in our cultural context. Guys, the onus is on us to make it so. And there's so much more that I could say about this topic of married couples dating, but we touched on it last week. Barb and I, in previous talks, have emphasized the importance of couples, if they want to have a healthy relationship and maintain that through all the chaos of life, to block off that regular weekly date time, whatever it looks like. So really all that's left is for you to do it. Like no excuses. Don't give me the excuse, we don't have any money. Don't give me the excuse, well, we've got young kids. No excuses, all right? You're smart people. Put your head together with your spouse and talk about a way to make it work. If money's an issue, plan cheap dates. If kids are an issue, rely on your family. Your River City family, that is. Form a dating co-op with other families in this church who are in a similar station of life, so that, you know, one week you can watch their kids and the next week they can watch yours, so that you get that meaningful time with your spouse. If you don't know how to do cheap or free dates, talk to your home group. Ask them for suggestions and ideas. Let's go on to that second context, because I know a lot of you came here specifically to hear about this. And the second context for dating that the Song of Songs talks about is dating that's done outside of marriage. So if you're a young person here this morning, and you've never been married or whatever, this applies to you. And if you were once married, but for whatever reason are no longer married, then this also applies to you. You can include yourself in this. And again, I feel really, in some ways, very intimidated because the topic is huge. We're just going to scratch the surface today, but we've got to start somewhere. So let me give you 4 biblical principles on dating before or after marriage. And I want to warn you ahead of time, before we get into this, that these principles are going to fly in the face of prevailing opinion in our culture today. This is just going to grate on every message, most messages that you've been told.